Good morning. It's 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday and I'm awake. Why is that? Because I have a clinic and you're coming with me. The day began as all horseback riding days do, driving for an insanely long time, blankly staring into space. Thanks to my husband for getting right up in there, right in my face. That's cool. So what is a horse clinic? Well, it's basically a horse masterclass. I'm sure other sports have clinics, but this may come as a shock to you, but I was not good at other sports. Clinics are basically a good chance for you to take a lesson with somebody who you otherwise might not be able to. Maybe they live out of state, maybe they're a big professional and wouldn't train with somebody as not good as you. It's a really great way to get some outside perspective from, oh, there he is. There's Eric. There's my husband, looking around. He had to be in this video. Now, you guys may be wondering, what sort of tunes does Sydney listen to hype herself up before cross-country day? Some real hardcore stuff there, guys. I have this myth in my head if I listen to this album before I ride on cross-country that I do well. There's no scientific basis behind that. Oh, thank goodness we made it to the barn. And even though Ahsoka's not doing the clinic, I had to say hi to my girl. Now we make the trek over to go get Superman. Hey guys, real quick question here. How long have I walked sort of like a duck? Nobody told me I walk like a duck. Y'all were just letting me walk around like a duck and didn't say anything? Really deeply embarrassing for me. Oh, there I go, navigating the mud like a little duck. Now, I had specifically asked Superman to not get dirty because it was a clinic day the next day, and he, as he always does, completely ignored me. Look at him. Eric had to be sure to get the cow in there because it's a cow. Anyway, for clinics, you want your horse to be clean. Maybe not necessarily show level clean, but it shows a level of respect to your clinician that you took the time to actually give a darn if your horse looked nice. So even though it was kind of chilly out this morning, I was like, we gotta hose this bad boy down. He is like 85% mud. And plus, if he was warm enough to roll in the cold mud, he's warm enough to get his little legsies washed off. These are the consequences of your actions, Superman. He's also pretty fluffy right now, and trying to curry comb out mud out of fluffy hair is nigh impossible, and it's better to just blast it with really high water pressure. Though I was somewhat comforted by the fact that it is cross-country day, and we eventers always say, they don't have to be that clean for cross-country day, they're running around in a field. I don't know if that's best practice, but it is what we tell ourselves. Keep in mind, I'm trying to get him clean while keeping myself clean because I also want to look nice for the clinician. It's a delicate balance, guys. Now it's time to get him in his stall and shove his cooler on so that he can dry properly. Now, boo-hoo howdy, do I love my back-on-track cooler when you want to get your horse back on track. Wink. Real talk, though, I do really love these coolers. They really help with blood flow, and they do a good job of wicking out moisture. I always use them. This is for Slato, so it's a little small on it. Looks like he's wearing a mini skirt. Well, there's nothing to be done about that. The man's just gonna have to go to the clinic in a mini skirt. I don't know. Maybe it's liberating for him. Maybe it gives him confidence. He's a man that loves a mini skirt. Now I get the trailer ready in the signature foolproof way of cleaning a trailer, kicking the shavings around with your little foot. And now it's time to load that bad boy right up. Mercifully, and thank heavens, Superman loads like an absolute gentleman. I'm too old to be fighting a horse onto a trailer. At this point, we are about 3 hours early for the clinic. On time is late, guys. What was Eric doing while I was loading? I don't know. Him and Ahsoka were like kissing each other on the mouth. That's pretty cute. Now, the real reason I get there so early is so I can have Superman settled in the trailer with his little hay net, which he is furious about. Look at his little teeth. Look at his little angry mouth. That's what you get. But once he's all settled, I like to take the time to go and watch the other participants in the clinic. This is a really, really great thing about clinics. You can watch other people go and listen to what the clinician has to say. It was a pretty nice day out in Barrington Park District, all things considered. I don't know why my husband just has this still shot of an empty field. Oh, this is some B-roll that he's really excited about. This leaf floating in a puddle. I think it symbolizes, I don't know, time, the changing of the seasons, the sadness within us all. But Superman's all settled. The next group's about to go, so I'm headed out with my trainer, and we're gonna go watch some cross country. Like I was saying, it's really important when you're at a clinic to take advantage of your clinic price to do some free auditing. That's me, on a log, definitely taking notes about what the clinician was saying. and not scrolling on TikTok. Have I mentioned who the clinician was yet? Oh yeah, it was John Staples. He is a well-known course designer in our area and basically designs the course every year at the Barrington Horse Trials, as well as being a very accomplished rider in his own right. So not only is it nice to get to see him teach other people, but also to learn about what he's thinking about when he's designing courses. Now here are my favorites from the day. This is Riley and my trainer's horse, Harvey. Riley is 17 and Harvey is 5. And John was really putting them through their paces. I'm so proud of both of them. Now here I am actually standing with John Staples, listening to him instruct the other students, and I'm asking my own questions, kind of figuring out his process, his mindset behind things, why he's asking people to do certain things so that I can be better prepared for my own session and going forward as I ride. It's a great opportunity to ask this person as many questions as you can. They are a respected professional in the field. Take advantage. Now again, the combined age of these two is like 24. And here they are, just absolutely bopping over a training level fence like it's nothing. Oh, did I mention this is Riley's 3rd time riding Harvey? She does not know this man. This man does not know her. So it was really cool to get to see them figure each other out and hear John help them figure each other out. It was also great to hear John's tips of being the most effective rider, even if you don't know a horse, but to make a horse you don't know go as well as it can. So proud of her. Then it was time to get Superman ready for my session. Sydney, what are you doing down there? Are you picking feet? No! It's time for you guys to learn what studs are. I've done a video about studs before, but I have a bunch of new people now, and you guys gotta know what studs are. Studs are horse cleats. Think about it, especially on cross country, these bad boys are running around on grass. Oh, that's my trainer, Kristen, helping me. Teamwork makes the dream work. But as I was saying, horses are running around on cross country. They're running around on grass. And if we expect football players to have cleats when they're running around on perfectly manicured turf, then it's only fair that we put cleats in for our horses. Studs are pretty straightforward. When you get your horse's shoes put on, they drill 2 holes at the back of the shoe. You then buy studs. You can see them in a little dish by my foot. And you screw those studs into the stud holes for when you're going on cross country. There are various types of studs for different conditions. They're longer, they're shorter, they're wider. There's ones for grass, there's ones for mud, there's some for sand. There's even studs for when your horse is going on the road. Next time you see a police horse, look at their feet. They probably have road studs on, or at least something to help them grip on the slipperiness that is asphalt. And with the help of a handy-dandy wrench, it doesn't take too long to actually get the stud in there. Especially if you have such a good boy like Superman who stands very quietly for you. Superman and I have our usual pre-cross country pep talk in which I beg him, please, please, please take care of me. I am so dumb and so small. And he goes, yeah, I got you. That's fair. You did pay a lot of money to make sure I didn't choke on hay. Never gonna let him live that down. Now we're headed out back to the cross country course. Those are the 2 other girls, Katie and Andrea, in my group. I like to be out before the clinician is about 15 minutes before he gets out there, so I can warm up my horse. I know it looks like we're just walking, but we're actually doing some warm-up. I'm seeing how his left side and his right side feel, how his jaw is feeling, how his energy is. I'm suppling him through his neck, seeing how his back and his hocks feel, and I'm also assessing how I'm feeling. Am I having a day where my left arm is being weird? Is my right arm being weak? Is my left leg in the position that it needs to be? Warm-ups, even at the walk, are a chance to gather information. Now John comes out, gives us a few words of stuff that he might have noticed yesterday during our show jumping session, any reminders, any tips that he might have thought of over the night, and a discussion of what we might get up to today. And now it's time for me to warm up proper. My cross-country warm-up is pretty straightforward. After doing some trot work, I get up to the canter. And within the canter, I am just bringing the horse forward and back, and assessing how well does he respond when I ask him to go forward and come back. Because on a cross-country course, you're going to have several types of canter that you need to do. Sometimes a long gallop or a short, more compressed stride when you're going into a tricky combination. And John is watching the whole time and giving me tips and tricks for keeping Superman better on my aids. And now we get jumping. Even for a horse as nice and talented as Superman, it's important to start over low, friendly jumps just so you can get your eye worked out and he can get his eye worked out and make sure that you're both on the same page. John had really emphasized during our show jump that it's important for me to set him up long before the jump. And by set him up, he means get him on his hind end with his head up so that he can take off and jump most effectively. I have a tendency on cross country to sort of let Superman take over, but I do actually have to ride. I am there. I do have to help the man out. He is very talented, but he is still a horse. As you can see there, I didn't get him to the best distance. I didn't help him out as best as I could have. And I believe this is exactly what John told me in that situation was, are you going to ride today or are you just going to let the horse take over? You're there to help him out. And I went, you know what? You're so right. As important as it is for horses to be independent and brave on cross country, you do still have to help them out. You have to set them up. You have to get them in the right canter and see how much better they jump when you do set them up. It's almost like John knew what he was talking about. What a crazy concept. A really great example of the different kind of canter you're going to need is in this half coffin situation. A coffin is what we call a ditch to a jump. And John really wanted me to regulate Superman's canter so that he could put his feet exactly where he needed to answer that question. Now here, John had set us up for a little bit more of an open canter, but it's coming out of a blind turn. So I, as the rider, knowing the jump is coming up, have to communicate to my horse that a jump is coming. I do that with half halts in my leg to let him know, hey, something's coming. And then opening his stride up a little bit more so that he could pop over that jump. Now, I think I'd been doing a little too well because John was like, all right, I'm going to have you jump some prelim stuff, which is a level above what I have been doing. And this jump that we're coming to has a little bit of a drop on the backside. So I have to sit him down so that he just gracefully plops right over. And then to a double up bank, which up banks are my favorite. You're just hopping around. They're real fun. And John was like, wow, that was really good. Now you're going to do it again and you're going to go to the prelim bounce bank. And I went, surely not. Not today. There he is, yelling at me to go do it. And watch how crazy this is. It's so hard to do, guys. It takes an incredible amount of strength in a horse's hind end to be able to bounce like that. But because of the tips that John had given me, it really wasn't that big of a problem. We're cruising through the course pretty quickly because John was really impressed with how all of us were doing. And I was pretty impressed with us, too. I mean, I wasn't impressed with Superman. He's like, always super. But I was proud of myself. Part of a good clinician's job is to get you ready for harder questions that you might start encountering on cross country and to give you expert advice on how to handle those situations. What is really nice is that my trainer is there so that when I'm unsure about something, she can reassure me. It's like having your mom at the first day of school. Now, the jump earlier was to prepare us for this hard prelim question. This is an upright brush on the top of a hill. And as you can see, I did not give that horse enough power going up that hill, and he had to drag me over the jump. Luckily, he's an angel and did that. So John was like, A, your horse is an angel. B, what have we learned? And I said, I need more power. And he said, yeah, you need more power. So why don't you go back a little bit farther this time and really power up that canter so that you can rock up that hill. Get aggressive. It's cross country. You gotta go for it. And I did, and look how much better that rode. And I was really set up to go through the water and set him up for that prelim wedge. The key, John said, is you have to have a good canter that is like shaking up a bottle of Coke. It's power, but it's not all shooting out of the front door. That's the key. That was my main takeaway. It's power, but it is contained power. It's like, yeah, you can shake up a can of Coke and just throw it on the ground and it's not really going to do anything for you. Or you could direct it and use it to push a little car. But you have to feel that bubbling energy underneath you. And that is what sets you up for success. I had such a wonderful time at this clinic, and I'm so grateful to the Pony Club of Fox River Valley for sponsoring this and allowing me to be a part of it. And I'm so grateful to John Staples for putting on a great clinic and giving me some really, really good advice. Clinics to me are invaluable resources. It's a chance to get a person with fresh eyes on you and your horse and give you a new perspective. Sometimes somebody's saying something that maybe your trainer has insisted over and over again, but in a slightly different way, might be what it takes to make it click. So get out there, find clinics in your area, and bring your horse to them. Or maybe if you don't have a horse or can't afford a full clinic, there's an option to audit clinics. That's where you sit and watch and take notes. That can be just as helpful as actually riding in the clinic. So thank you guys for sticking around for this very long video. I hope you learned something. I hope you had as good of a time as I did. Oh, that's my mom. And of course, none of this would be possible without my wonderful husband and my trainer, Kristen.